Welcome to another episode of 2B1. My name's Diana.
My name is Levi, and this is 9 days until 10 years.
It is. And today we wanted to reflect on when we started dating. So our first date and then the journey of us dating until engagement.
A little over 2 years of being together, but it all started with a date that was after we got to hang out with friends, which is a common theme of day 10 or 10 days till 10 years, where a lot of this came together due to mutual friends. So where we left off was me securing a kiss. Gotta throw that in there again because it's relevant. It's relevant because it followed up with me asking to take Diana out on a date. And it coincided with some plans we had made with our friends. I believe we went to Six Flags.
Correct.
And side story that's pretty funny is we got pulled over with another car by one state trooper in New Jersey. It was crazy. He got in between both of us, pointed frontwards and backwards and over to the side and made us
So
all
wild.
pull over. Mind you, we were all in a Corolla. It was me, you, Hans, Claude, and Danilo. Danilo was driving.
Yep.
And me and Hans are both about 6'3", 6'4", big guys. So imagine that. And then you have Claude, who is the smaller of the three of us, but is also a tall guy and very lanky. So he, legs, leg space and everything like that. Then you got Diana, smaller and things like that. But imagine two guys that are about 6'4", big, solid dudes. And then you got a lankier, he's slimmer, but lanky at the same time. We all squeeze up into this car. And we take ourselves on down to Six Flags. And on the way, we end up getting pulled over by one trooper. And there was another car he pulled over at the same time. That dude is cold. I don't know who he was, but he was cold. He just met two law-abiding citizens that follow rules.
He was on a mission that day.
Oh, yeah. We were rolling, too. But I don't know if there are many people that would have pulled over for that dude. But anyway, to go into it, we had a really good time at Six Flags. Diana's from North Philly. I'm from the burbs outside of Southwest Philly, Darby Township. So that being said, it didn't make sense for me not to be out that way. So I stayed with my boy Hans at his house where he's from, and which was a lot closer to Diana than I live. So when we came back, I stayed there, hung out, and the next day, I think we went on a Thursday to Six Flags.
I think it was a Wednesday.
A Wednesday at Six Flags, and then did we go out on Thursday or Friday?
Can't remember.
I know the date. It was May 27th, 2011. I know the date like at the back of my hand. So, do you want to talk about what we did?
Yeah. So we went to the movies first, right?
Yes.
We saw Kung Fu Panda.
Which they get ready to come out with another one this week.
Exactly. We got to make another date.
Yeah, we got to make another date.
Which is just funny because we're like college age kids, 20, 21, and we go see Kung Fu Panda for our first date. But it just like, I loved it because it played to the kiddish side of us. Yeah. And then we went out to dinner afterwards to Bahama Breeze.
Yeah. And the other part of that is like Kung Fu Panda is not necessarily an aphrodisiac, right? So my mind was in the right place. I really wanted to get to know her. I really wanted to date her. And I had really kind of gathered intel about who she was based on just the limited amount of time we got to get to know each other with our friend group. I understood that she's just as much as a kid as I am. So we both like cartoons. One of us, I'm not going to say who, always like to put on Dora the Explorer in the morning. But I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to point that out or anything like that.
You're playing yourself.
But, when we were in college, Dora the Explorer would somehow be on the TV. I'm not an early morning person. She is. So I'm just saying. I don't know who will put it on, if there was some type of Dora the Explorer fairy or something going on or what was happening. But I'm just saying that's so I recognize that.
Would this happen at my apartment or your apartment?
It doesn't matter where the apartment is.
No, because you would have control over the remote if it was your apartment.
No, not really. Not really. But we can move on to the next thing.
Anyway, so then after that, I iced you for a while.
Yeah. Well, let's go. Let's wait and pause for a minute. So we wrap the date up. I take her home. And I secured another kiss.
Oh my gosh.
And this one is on record because her brother saw it. So Kelvin, if you watch this, you know, he was across the street. We didn't know. He was like a ninja. He was across the street. And I guess later on he had came and approached her and said, "Why are you kissing that boy on the set?" Because he didn't know who I was at the time. We cool now. That's bro. I love you. But yeah, he kind of pressed her a little bit like, "Why you?" Because it was him and his friends on the steps. So of course he, you know, I'm pretty sure his friends might have said, "Dang, you always the boy on your step kissing your sister. That's crazy." But yeah, so that happened. But yeah, then we get the icing, right? She iced me, smooth iced me. Like after that day, I didn't talk to her probably for the better part of maybe 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
I feel like I didn't ice you right away. I feel like we talked. We talked on the phone, text for a while, like the month of May. I feel like I didn't really.
But it was May 27th.
It was.
so if it was the rest of the month, that was only about 4 days. So.
All right.
So, okay, I'll say she iced me for the month of June and about the first 4 days of July or 3 days of July. And the only reason why I wasn't still on ice was because Danilli, shout out to Danilli.
She the key to this relationship.
Danilli, I invited her and Diana to Jordan's graduation party / my birthday party, which is July 1st. So, you know, if y'all want to send some stuff, July 1st, Father's Day is coming up as well. Some of y'all my sons and daughters out there.
Chill out.
You know, so I know y'all pick up what I put down and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, on those days, if you want to honor me, you know, the day I came here and the day that, you know, I became a biological father, but I've always been your father. So, anyway,
stop.
a month of just kind of on ice, and I wouldn't say 100% on ice, but definitely in the 90 percentile. It was about.
Yeah, I wouldn't answer your text.
Yeah, like it
or
was
whatever,
very,
but I definitely wasn't the one texting you or calling you. Like
right. So that's
and it wasn't like I was prolonging the conversation. Like it was just like, oh, you text me good morning, or you text me, hey, how you doing? I would respond, but like I wasn't trying to have this long, extensive conversation with you.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get the vibe that she was interested in pursuing anything at that moment. That didn't stop my persistence or my desire to want to be with her, but I definitely didn't get the vibe in that month. And maybe you can shed a little light as to how and why that might have happened or why it played out that way.
Yeah, so I mean, at that moment, I don't think I knew why I was doing that. It wasn't like you came on too strong or anything like that. I think now reflecting back on it, or like a couple years ago, I kind of reflected back on it and shared that with you. That it was, I think after that date, we had such a good conversation over dinner that I knew, I was like, oh, this guy is different. This is not like play. Like he ain't here just to try to like, you know. So I think that scared me because I'm not someone that like really dated a lot. Like honestly, I wouldn't even, like now as a grown woman, I wouldn't say I really had any boyfriends because they were all like, it was all like we were boyfriend and girlfriend in school, but like I wasn't talking with you or hanging out with you outside of that. So like, I think after our date, it was just like, oh, this is real. And I was just getting into like really finding myself and really growing and healing from some childhood traumas that I finally was starting to face, that I was like, this is too much for me right now. Like, I don't want to engage in a serious relationship or anything like that. And so I think that led me to ICU, but I wasn't in a place where I was comfortable or confident in telling you that without thinking like, oh, I'm going to come off scary or something like that. So kind of just played the ice game for a little bit, put you on the back burner. And then you're right. You definitely kind of forced my hand to go come up to the burbs to celebrate Jordan and celebrate your birthday, along with a couple of our other friends from college as well were at the party. And you didn't even like really spend a whole lot of time with me at the party either, because there was like family, friends, and all that kind of stuff there too. But it was nice to see you again and hang out and talk and stuff like that. And then after that, I feel like we really started engaging in conversation again. Like, I would answer your phone calls. We would talk on the phone all night, started texting all day long, and then started going on dates again.
Yeah. That's a good summarization. I will point out that at the party, there were a lot of people that were asking, was this the person you were talking about? Now, some of them got confused. They thought it was Danili, because Danili was very social and like talking to everybody. So they kind of figured, oh, maybe she's the one because she's like talking to everybody. Right. But because you're more laid back, your personality initially is more laid back. And once you get to know, we all know how funny you are, how much of you can be the life of a party. Yeah. And you can get into all the shenanigans that we get into. So that's how this works too, because ultimately, while maybe in the beginning stages, and some of that may be out of some of the things you've been through in your life, your reservation of just going right into it as far as socially, but then coming into it a little more as you get comfortable. So, so a lot of people were wondering. So I had been talking about you too, especially to certain people, certain close people, knew about you, knew about how you
had a couple of your cousins come up and say hi and be all giggly and bubbly.
Danny, Vicky,
which was nice and sweet, and I think that definitely opened the door a little bit more. Like, oh, okay, no, this guy is really into me. He's clearly like mentioning or showing his family, so that kind of reopened the door, and then we started doing our little dates, our little water ice summer dates, because it was summer.
We kept it real simple. And
really simple, and I love that. Yeah. I think that gave us so much room to have like good conversations. We found our favorite spot in the city. We haven't been back since our engagement photos. That's wild.
I know. We're going back this year.
We're going back.
Wait till everything blooms and gets like fullness of what it was, and how it looks. If you want to share what that spot is.
Ray Street Pier.
Okay.
I was like, wait, I was about to call it the wrong name because now there's so many piers along that street. So, but Ray Street Pier, that was our spot, and then we would go get Rita's water ice or Franklin Fountain or something like that. Some nice treat. So kept it really simple, not like really spending a lot of money to wine and dine each other or anything like that, but really focused on our communication and talking and talking life and family and future and past and stuff like that. And not even in depth, because I think it took me a while to like really let you into the deepness of me. But just still building that trust, I would say. We definitely built a lot of trust when we were dating. And then going forward, and then we did wine and dine for the big 1 year dating anniversary.
Yeah, we spent some money on that. I mean, I took her to Davio's. Davio's is a steakhouse, like 16th and Sampson, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know if it's still there. They might have moved location or shut down.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why I said.
But that was some good food.
It really was. It really was good. And then the dessert, I think we had like tiramisu or something like that.
Yeah, something good. It was delicious.
Yeah, it was really good. So, and then so we did like a tiered thing. We can kind of talk about it. So, my date was to Davio's. We got all dressed up. For both of them, we kind of got dressed up. We got all dressed up and went down. This was like a year, celebrating a year. And
which is August
11th, technically, but we made it the 12th because we both love the number 12. For her, it's because of her birthday being in December, and that's one of her favorite numbers, or her top favorite number, 12. And then for me, it's just a number that I always grew up liking, and just kind of added significance to it as I went. So my birthday is 7/1, so the first of the month. My brother's birthday is the second of his month, which is 10/2. My dad's birthday is 1/2. So now 12, being that losing my dad and everything, that creates a bigger meaning now. So then it was more so just a number that was like a family number. My mom wore it for playing when she played basketball at Lansdowne, Alden, and Penwood. My dad wore the number in different spaces because of his birthday. And things like that. So it was just a number that was kind of like what we considered to be a family number. So if there was a number 12 available, whatever team I was on, I was wearing number 12. So we shared that alike with having different reason for it, which is funny. So we decided, since the conversation we had about being together really happened on the 12th, like the 11th was like we knew on a soul level that we were together.
No, the opposite. The conversation happened on the 11th.
No. I don't think it did. We had a conversation around it, but the 12th, you asked me, what are we actually doing? Because we had a really deep, like, intimate time at the pier. Just like me and you, we were like in a space where it was almost like you didn't even know like anything else. It probably wasn't the most safe. Looking back, like it wasn't the most safe thing because we were so in like locked eyes, talking, just having a conversation, and it was leading to that. But we never, at the end of that date, I don't think we like locked it in.
Right.
And then on the 12th, we were talking on the phone, and then you hit me because this is funny. You were never even leading into that at that point. Like you were never giving out the "what are we doing" thing. It was just kind of like we both were like we kept saying no expectations. That's a funny thing during the dating phase that we were doing.
I forgot about that. We definitely did.
We no expectations ourselves through the whole summer. The whole summer, and so
right into a relationship.
And that's hilarious. So she hit me with the "what are we doing?" Because I think that that day before she must have felt like, okay, I'm ready.
I think too we were like about to go back to school. Like it was just like, let's clear the lines. Like, what are we just still talking? Like when we go back up to Westchester, like, or are we like in a relationship? Like, you know how it can get when you get back on campus. You know.
Yeah. So if you won't lock it down, I can't get mad if I saw her with another dude or saw another dude coming out of her apartment and vice versa or something like technically we never locked it in at that point. That was about a week and a half probably before we were going back up on campus. So I appreciate her doing that because I wasn't even thinking like that. My mom was like, I'm all locked in, but hey, if I'm still technically single, that means if it's never spoken, then if I did, and like I said, you're in college, just hookup culture and all that kind of stuff. So I think her thinking was in the right place to say, hey, what are we doing?
Right.
So I know how to go just in case. I know you really like me. And even if you hooked up with somebody else, you might still really like me. But I don't know how I would feel if I found out or if I saw some woman leaving your apartment, whatever. And I want to see where your headspace is so I can figure out how we're moving forward because I'm assuming you wanted to make it official. So you wanted to see where I was at that point. Like we've been talking all summer, where are we at? And I don't know if I can handle not being official because that means it's open for you to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Without any kind of consideration for me.
Right.
So let's just speak it. Or maybe you were just like, well, let's just make it something now so that we can determine that. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, we still talking, but there is no, like, lockdown where I can't talk to somebody else.
Yeah, I don't think I was, one way or the other. I think I just wanted like clarity on what the expectations were, right? Because all summer, no expectations, no expectations. But now we're going into a different place where we're going to be in way closer proximity.
Yeah.
Definitely probably going to be bumping into each other every day, all the time. So just making it clear, like, what those lines were. Like, are we in a relationship or are we just still just talking? And either way, it would have been fine. But just having that clear conversation before we touch back on campus. Yeah. So that was August 12th. And then a year later, we celebrated big. So like you said, you took me to Davio's, and then my part of the date was on the Spirit of Philadelphia.
That was fun.
So that was fun. Went on the Spirit of Philadelphia. It goes down the Delaware River. You can go on the deck and go see the water, you know. Delaware River ain't romantic, but it sure enough feels romantic on the Spirit of Philadelphia.
And when you're with the right person. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like any space can feel like romantic, right? So you could be in the middle of a festival. Festivals are not really romantic. They're dirty, grungy, like, not to be visceral, but you're going to the bathroom in porta potties. So, but if you're with the right person, that might be one of the most romantic things that you could do if that's what y'all like to do.
Right.
And our thing was spending time together. And that's like the foundation of our relationship, is like spending time together, whether it be us together or with our friends, because we both hold our friends near and dear to our heart. I think she used to tease me and say, like, our friend group was her friend group first and stuff like that.
They were.
Logistically, yes. But when I came, I made things exponentially better. So let's not even do that.
Okay. Anyway, back to dating.
So, all right. So,
college dating. We didn't really like go out much. We just kind of spend time together. Yeah, struggling college students. So whenever there was a free program, we was there to get some free food. Pick up the vibes, whatever.
Sure.
It was definitely more just like hanging out with each other and spending time with each other. And like I said, building that communication. I really, really think that like the reason why our communication to this day is so good is because that's what we did a lot. Like, we spent a lot of time talking, and
if it was off, it was evident. Like, it was like, oh, something's going on.
Right.
Something's wrong. Like, we need to come together. And I think we still do that. I mean, it's not perfect. Like, it's messy. We had bad communicating times in college, so we weren't perfect. And we still have some bad communicating time. I think the thing is, we know when to stop and get back to center. Right. Like, and be like, yo, we're off right now. Like, yes, some of these things, it could be finances, it could be just moods based on things that we've been through individually, that we're dealing with stuff, and, you know, the other person might be irritating to us right now. Not because of something they actually did, but because whatever they're doing is the straw that breaks the camel's back. So, you know, I think, we did a lot of formulating that communication of like, all right, our base is to communicate with each other well, and when we're off base, we know we got to get back, and one or both of us know, like, yo, or when one brings it up, we pretty much will be like, oh yeah, like, exactly. Right, we've been way off, so I think that helped us that year, that there wasn't a lot of distractions of communication and things like that. And I think because of our setup, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with this one, because I think a lot of people ask, especially because we're believers, did we wait? Like, one, I wasn't a virgin coming into the marriage, and I mean, coming into the marriage, but coming into dating, even though I grew up in the church and that's what was taught to me. So shout out to all the people that helped raise me. You did your thing. It wasn't something that I didn't know as far as being abstinent, abstaining, and being celibate and things like that. But, you know, things happen, go a different path, choose different things. I'm going to take responsibility for that. So I wasn't a virgin, and we didn't wait until marriage. I think at different points, especially closer towards getting engaged, I was trying to make an effort, but I'll be honest, I was the weaker of will. And in that I would lead Diana into certain things, but
astray.
Yeah. So, so, you struggle with that. I wouldn't say struggle. I'll say, that's something that I never got down. But ultimately we ended up getting married. So it worked out in a sense of it wasn't a situation where now we were just having this premarital sex and it didn't go, lead into being married. We ended up getting married. Obviously, we're going to celebrate 10 years here in a few weeks. Mm-hmm. So I say all that to say, I don't feel like even when we were dating and we were engaging with one another in a sexual manner, I don't feel like it blurred our vision and our minds to what we were doing. And I don't think it was the center of what we were doing. No, I don't. As far as our relationship, when I say what we're doing, I'm talking about our relationship. Yeah, I don't think it became the focal point to the point where we couldn't make sound decisions on whether we should be together or not. We were still having a very deep conversation. I think that was part of the reason it made it hard to commit to being abstinent, because we were having such deep intimacy in a communication way and in a relational way. It was like, what's the next way of expression? So it's just like feeling that connected almost towards the end of our dating time. That kind of segues us into the next till 8 days. But, it felt like we were that connected to where, like, I know I'm going to be with her. Like, I'm not leaving. I'm not just getting some of the goods and then I'm out of here. Like, this is going the distance. And so now we're coming up on 10 years. So, 10
years.
10 years. So that's
crazy.
That was dating. And that led us into premarital counseling in 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little hint there. We did premarital counseling before we got engaged. So technically.
Shout out to Pastor.
Technically, while we were still dating, we did premarital counseling.
Yes.
But we'll leave it there.
Yes.
Because we want you to tune into tomorrow so that you can hear all about our journey in premarital counseling.
All right.
Thank you guys for listening to 2B1.